Today I'm going to share with you one of the funniest books around because it's about a dog, and books about dogs are always really good. But also, this is about Walter. That's the name of the dog. And Walter is the farting dog. Okay, so dogs fart too, just like you do. Walter the Farting Dog by William Kotzwinkle and Glenn Murray. And look at the picture of Walter. Walter looks a little bit fat, doesn't he? And I'm going to turn to the title page right here, the page that has the author's name, and the title is called the title page. William Kotzwinkle and Glenn Murray, Walter the Farting Dog. And there's a picture of Walter, and he looks pretty happy there because he's got flowers coming out of his mouth. Oh, but look what's coming out of his butt. It looks like a bit of steam. I think it's gas. I think it's probably stinky. Here's a beautiful picture with the family. Betty and Billy brought Walter home from the dog pound. Nobody wanted him, said Billy. But we love him, said Betty. Well, he smells awful, said their mother. I think you'd better give him a bath. Does your dog like baths? My dogs hate baths. Mother walked in and said, he still smells awful. And that's when they got the first clue, the telltale bubbles in the water. What do you think is making bubbles in the water? He's probably just a little nervous, said Mother hopefully. His stomach must be upset. But Walter's stomach wasn't upset. Walter's stomach was fine. He felt perfectly normally. He just farted a lot. Oh my goodness, look how big that dog is, and look at that coming from his butt. I think that's gas. I think they're the two children and there's Mom. This is a spray can and it says Fart Buster. I think she's hoping to spray the smell away. He did it when he bathed. He did it when he played with Betty and Billy. He did it when he walked around the house. He did it in the dining room. He did it in the kitchen, and he did it in his sleep. Oh, Walter, you're just a big farty dog. Look at that. Look at that. I wonder, we can see Walter's farts. We can see the picture with the gas coming out. Can you see your farts? I hope not. That dog farts morning, noon, and night, said Father. Oh, he can't help it, Daddy, said Betty and Billy. They didn't mind Walter's farts. So what if he farts, Billy said to Betty when they were alone in their room with Walter. Betty agreed. Walter agreed too. He sat there looking innocently around, farting. Take him to the vet, said Father. So there they are having their conversation. It looks like Billy has his basketball and Betty is hugging Walter. And what do you think Walter's doing? Can you guess? What's Walter doing there? Everybody say, Walter is farting. Look on Daddy's head. The other dog is there. I don't think he's a farter. Farting, said the vet, or rectal flatulence, as we say in the medical profession. And he prescribed a change in diet. Maybe by having different food, Walter won't fart so much. Look at the poor doctor. Walter is farting in the doctor's face. That would be silly. It wouldn't be very pleasant. They gave Walter every kind of dog food. He farted. They tried him on cat food. They gave him hot dogs, hamburgers and lettuce and tomato sandwiches. They gave him fried chicken. They gave him rabbit food. They made him a vegetarian. Oh, no matter what that dog eats, he turns it into farts, roared Father. I don't think Father's very happy with all the farting in the house. Seems like Walter's enjoying eating every kind of food, though. You always should try something new. Walter got the blame for everybody else's farts, too. If Uncle Irv let one slip, he just went and stood near Walter. Then all he had to say was, "Walter!" And everyone would look at poor Walter. You can blame your dog on your farts. "He has to go back to the pound," said Father. "No, Daddy, please," begged Betty and Billy. "Don't send Walter away." "He goes tomorrow," said Father. They pleaded. They begged. Walter farted. It was all over. That night, Betty and Billy cried in their beds, and Walter looked at them unhappily. "Oh, Walter," said Betty, "you've got to stop farting." "Because Father's going to send you back to, to the pound tomorrow," said Billy. Aw, look how big Walter is on the bed there. Walter knew how serious the situation was. He'd never see Billy and Betty again. He resolved to hold in his farts forever. When Betty and Billy fell asleep, he walked down to the kitchen to see if there was anything around to eat. He managed to open the cupboard door with his nose and found the 25-pound bag of low-fart dog biscuits the vet had prescribed for him, which had made him fart even more. Even though he knew they made him fart more, he couldn't resist. He ate the entire bag. "Very tasty," said Walter to himself. And look at that. He was tempted. He got the cupboard door open and he ate the entire bag of biscuits that were supposed to stop him farting, but they still make him fart. Look at the cat. Snuck into the cupboard too. Maybe she wants to eat those biscuits. And then he went and lay down on the sofa. A gigantic gas bubble began to build up inside him. "Oh, this is going to be trouble," he said to himself nervously. He was afraid of what might happen if he let it go. He thought maybe the house would explode. So he kept it in. It wasn't easy. In fact, it was torture. But he had resolved never to fart again. His future depended on it. And as he lay there with his tail wrapped tightly between his legs, he heard a noise at the window. The cat is sleeping on top of the dog. That's cute. I wonder if Ben's cat, Flash, sleeps on top of Loki or Harley. I don't think so. I think Loki and Harley aren't as big as Flash. He watched it slowly open. A pair of burglars came in. They dropped silently into the kitchen. "Watch out for the dog," said one of the burglars. "He won't bite," said the other. "He's a wimp." Walter might have bitten them, except he was so filled with gas he couldn't move. They tied a rag around his snout so he couldn't bark. "Okay," whispered the first burglar. "Let's clear this place out." They took everything they could get their hands on. Walter wanted to stop them, but he was having unbearable gas pains. He rolled on his back and he waved his paws in the air. He gnashed his teeth. "We've got it all," said the second burglar. "Let's go." Look at the explosion. I bet I know what's going to happen on this page. That's when Walter let it fly. It was the worst fart of his life. It made a tremendous noise and shot him across the room. A hideous cloud filled the air. The burglars clutched to their throats. They were unable to breathe. With tears in their eyes, they raced for the window. They tried to grab their bag with all the valuables in it, but their arms were too weak. Let's get out of here. They jumped out the window and ran up the block, choking and gasping for air. Still blinded by Walter's attack, they stepped into the headlights of an approaching police car. "Hold it right there," said the policeman. Look, you can still see all the farts surrounding the burglars. When Father and Mother came down in the morning, they found the open window. And when they saw the bag with their valuables in it, and Walter was sitting beside it, he still had the rag tied to his snout. Look what they did. You'd have to say he looked heroic, like a hero. "He saved the silverware," cried Mother. "He saved the VCR," cried Father. "Good dog, Walter. You're our dog, even if you do fart all the time." So Dad is finally happy that Walter is his dog, because Walter saved the day. And so the family learned to live with Walter, the hero dog. And that's the end of our tale. But look, the word tale, it means story, but it means like the tail on a dog. It has two meanings. And that's the end of the story. And it looks like Walter's still farting. And it's Walter's Wonder Park, 100% natural gas powered. Everything is happening from Walter's farts. I hope you enjoyed that story. I really think Walter would be a smelly but fun pet to have.